right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Tragedy during the morning commute.
It would have helped if the baby was in the car seat.
A 3-year-old killed in a crash. The emotional plea tonight from other drivers.
People, please slow down.
Weekend rain chances and building heat. The weather impact forecast over the next 7 days is timing out the changes coming to the bi-state area.
Our top story, her disappearance has haunted a Missouri town for nearly 35 years.
You know, this is a town where you would not lock your doors.
Tonight, investigators confirming a new search for Gina Dawn Brooks.
We're told evidence was collected during a massive search of a property in Bollinger County. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. This week's search took place about 15 miles away from where the 13-year-old girl was last seen in Fredericktown. Laura Barcheski just got back from that community with reaction. Laura.
Mike and Kelly, the people of Fredericktown say the disappearance of Gina Dawn Brooks changed the entire town forever, and these recent developments have given them hope that they might find closure soon.
Yeah, the town needs it. You know, you got a small town that everybody still waves at everybody. They say hi to you in Walmart and they move around you in Walmart. You know, they'll give you room, and it's a small town, and people need the closure. We really do.
13-year-old Brooks disappeared in August 1989. She was out riding her bike at night about 15 miles from the site. Law enforcement have been searching around this week in Bollinger County. The property's owner for the last 15 years spoke with 5 on Your Side this week, saying an FBI agent called him 3 weeks ago and told him they would be looking for remains because someone in prison might have admitted information about the site. While the Missouri State Highway Patrol says they did not find any remains, they did find some items they believe could be evidence. One woman says she was about 20 years old at the time Brooks disappeared and never forgot about her.
This is just an easygoing town. You know, everybody was out and about. It was summer, you know, and you started looking over your shoulder or looking at your surroundings when you would go places.
3 men were implicated in her disappearance, but no one was ever convicted because of the lack of evidence. The items found during the multi-day search through a dense wooded area are being sent to the Missouri State Highway Patrol Crime Laboratory for analysis. And they are still looking for answers, and anyone who knows anything is asked to call the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-840-9500 or the FBI tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Thanks, Laura. Spot storms continue to impact the bi-state region tonight.
Some areas have seen some quick downpours and even some rumbles of thunder. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking them in the weather impact forecast.
You know, most of us in the metro area saw that during the afternoon, early evening hours, then things tended to settle down. We've had one thunderstorm, though, where we could see the lightning farther to the south of St. Louis, and that's moving out of southern Iron County into portions of Reynolds County. And now it's finally starting to fizzle out a bit here as it's gone by just north of Ellington. But it did put down some downpours and certainly some pretty decent cloud-to-ground lightning. Meanwhile, the rest of the area is pretty quiet right now, and most of us will stay dry for the remainder of the overnight hours. Some patchy fog is possible by early morning tomorrow, and a very limited rain chance for Friday. Looking at our visibilities early tomorrow, basically if you saw some rain today or you're southwest of St. Louis, down here over the eastern Ozarks in the Merrimack River Valley per se, some of those low spots will see some patches where the visibility drops below a half mile, maybe even below a quarter of a mile, but it's pretty brief, doesn't last very long, and tomorrow most of us will be on the dry side. It won't stay that way for the entire weekend. We'll time out your weekend rain chances in just a bit, Kelly.
All right, Scott. Tonight, a 3-year-old is dead after an early morning car crash on I-70 in North St. Louis. Police say the driver was speeding and weaving in and out of traffic when he crashed into a semi near Salisbury. New tonight, drivers in that area share their thoughts and concerns with 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend.
Kelly, people I talked to are expressing a variety of emotions. Now they're thinking about the child who lost her life, and they're also hoping this tragedy reminds drivers to always be responsible when they get behind the wheel.
I rode past it.
Nick Earl was just one of the many who saw this awful car crash and massive traffic jam minutes after police say a Dodge Challenger collided with a semi. It happened around 8 Thursday morning in the eastbound lanes of I-70 near the Salisbury exit.
But I seen all the traffic backed up, and then on my way back on the other side, it was still backed up like 2, 3 o'clock in the evening. It was still backed up from them cleaning up.
He soon learned a 3-year-old girl died.
It was really tragic.
St. Louis police say a man in the Challenger was speeding and weaving in and out of traffic when he crashed into the semi. The Challenger flipped and the child was thrown from the car. Investigators say the child was not in a car seat.
It would have helped if the baby was in the car seat.
Paramedics took the driver and a woman in the front seat to a hospital. Debris from the semi flew into the express lanes and caused another crash involving 3 cars. No one was seriously hurt.
My prayers go out to them. It's real sad, man. I be seeing a lot of people speeding myself. I drive slow. I drive under the speed limit.
Truck try to get on the highway, and there's no space. They just step on the gas.
That's just one scenario trucker Olin Miller says he often sees when he's on the road. He too has a message for drivers after this heartbreaking crash.
Wake up. Pay attention.
People, please slow down.
Again, police say the 26-year-old man and 22-year-old woman are expected to be okay. Now, the semi-driver wasn't hurt. As of right now, the driver of the Challenger has not been charged.
Tonight, Christopher Dunn's legal team is working to get him out of prison. After spending 34 years behind bars, a judge overturned Dunn's murder conviction. However, the Missouri Attorney General appealed that decision, and the state Supreme Court halted his release. Now, Dunn's lawyers have until tomorrow to file a response. The AG has until Monday. St. Louis University criminal justice professor Kenya Brumfield Young has dedicated time to Dunn's case.
They argue because they do believe that justice was served, that the case concluded the way that, constitutionally, and then unless there are any constitutional errors, that there's no way that we can go back and unwind something based on either newer evidence or things like that.
Brumfield Young saw Dunn earlier today. She says he's still optimistic. Today, a judge gave the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office a deadline for 5 p.m. tomorrow to file evidence in the Bar PM case. Chad Morris says he was arrested without probable cause after St. Louis police officers crashed their SUV into his bar last year. Police claim he got into a physical altercation with an officer. His lawyer filed a motion for a judge to either sanction the Circuit Attorney's Office or drop the case.
Tonight, 2 Jefferson County high schools are working to repair $1 million in damages to their football fields. Fields at Fox and Seckman High Schools were damaged by heavy rain earlier this month. Rain lifted the turf on both fields. Now closed, it will impact multiple sports, band practices, and gym classes. Programs are adjusting their schedules while the schools work on a timeline for repairs.
There's always concerns, hey coach, are we going to have any home games this year? Do you know what's going on? And really that's something that we don't have information on right now. And it's something that, I tell them all the time, worry about the things you can do, focus on the things you can control, and that's what we've been doing out of camp.
Fox High School's first home game of the season will now be played at Melville.
Just hours from now, the race for the White House will come through St. Louis. 5 on Your Side has learned Donald Trump's pick for Vice President, J.D. Vance, will be in town tomorrow. The Ohio senator won't be addressing the public. He'll attend a private GOP fundraiser alongside fellow Senator Eric Schmidt of Missouri. The time and location have not been made public. We do know the cost is $3,000 per person. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is tamping down the beepstakes rumors. The Chicago Sun-Times reports he had a phone call yesterday with Kamala Harris's campaign to gauge his interest on joining the Democratic ticket.
The Harris campaign did not call me yesterday. I have had a number of conversations with people I do regularly with the campaign. As I say, I don't want to talk about any private conversations I've had, but I will say that I have said directly to the vice president that I'm going to do everything and anything that is necessary to make sure that we beat Donald Trump.
Pritzker made those comments today during a security briefing for the Democratic National Convention, which is being held in Chicago next month. 5 on Your Side political editor Mark Maxwell will report for us from the DNC. You can look for his live reports starting August 19th. Well, tonight, a Metro East music teacher received top honors from a pop music icon.
Melissa Gustafson Hines is the recipient of the Manilow Music Project Teacher Award. And Barry Manilow hand-delivered the award to her tonight before his concert at the Enterprise Center. She has been the band director at O'Fallon Township High School for the past 17 years. The award includes a $10,000 grant from the Manilow Fund. Half of that will help pay for new band equipment. And as an added bonus, the Enterprise Center donated an extra $2,500 tonight.
There are so many great music teachers across the country with different resources. Some have lots of resources and some do not. But in this day and age, music is needed. The arts are needed in all the schools. And for someone to be paying it forward in the arts, because the arts change lives, they are memories, and they make people who they are today. They give people a place. So the fact that he is doing this, it is really special.
The Manilow Music Project has awarded $10 million to schools across the country.